Yo, what's up everyone? Voskadop. This is Valoramous. In today's music business tutorial, I'm going to show you how to distribute and self-release music through the DistroKid distributor. Now, you may think this is an esoteric process, but it's actually quite easy once you understand the mechanics behind uploading a .wav file of your master track plus album artwork, and then inputting all the various information and tracking and properly annotating all the royalties. So you may think this is an esoteric process in terms of uploading the .wav master file, inputting the .jpeg album cover, and then inputting all the information to include all the royalty information into DistroKid for distribution through various streaming platforms, but it's actually a simple process. I'm going to break this down step by step, and I will show you my method for uploading and releasing singles, EPs, and then also albums. All right, what's up everyone? This is Valoramous, and this is my tutorial on DistroKid on how to release singles, EPs, and albums through DistroKid platform, then distribute your tracks to all streaming services. So this is a list of my music, as you can see here. It's a mix of singles and remixes mostly. Now, I have no EPs here, but I have released EPs through other record labels. So what you're gonna see here are singles, either collaborations or remixes. And then you're gonna see these individual little icons, which are the streaming services or music stores that the tracks are distributed to. So for example, you can see Amazon, Ngami, Apple Music, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, TikTok, etc. So when you're uploading a track, we're going to go to this upload button right here. We're going to upload music. That is step one. And this is the first step after, of course, you register the account. And then up top, you're going to see the services. This is going to explain which services your music will reside after you upload and distribute the track. Now, Snapchat, you must own 100% of the publishing, so unless you entirely wrote the song to include the lyrics and the instrumental, if there are lyrics, you will not be able to use this function. And then here is where you can actually state the number of songs. So this is the difference between a single or an EP or an album. So one song is a single, two or more songs is an EP, and generally the threshold for an album is about 8 or 9 songs, although I've seen as low as 7. But if you're anywhere between about 2 to 7 songs, you're usually an EP, and then 8 songs or more is usually an album. So for now, let's just do a single. You're gonna say this single has probably not previously been released. You can manage multiple artists. You can see I've managed several artists here, or collaborations, or like it. So I'm gonna choose my own artist name, Valoramous, and then you can see it's already automatically linked to my Spotify Music and YouTube Music accounts. So if this is not showing right here, you will have to connect, and that is going to be through the use of either a hyperlink or, in the case of Spotify, a UPI. So you have to find that UPI. I'm going to show you that briefly for Spotify. You're going to go to your actual Spotify account, and then you will go here, and you will click on these 3 dots, and then you'll press Option on MacBook, and then you'll be able to click that copy the URI, and then you go back to here, and then you'll copy and paste that URI. For Apple Music, YouTube Music, it's usually as simple as copying the hyperlink for an individual profile. Scrolling down, you're going to put the release date, and generally I always recommend 4 to 6 weeks in advance. That way you have plenty of time to correct any administrative errors prior to release of that single, EP, or album. So let's just, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to put something well in advance from the future. We're just going to say about October 16th of 2025. It looks like DistroKid will not allow much more than 2. So say 2 years in the future. Specify the release time. I usually like to say 12:01. That way it's clear that it is the next day. And I usually like to say in the listener's time zone. Pre-order, you can have a pre-order date. I usually like to do that about 2-3 weeks in advance. So we can just say September 16th of 2025. That's 1 month in advance of the projected release date. You can put the record label, the language. Here's where you input the primary genre. So let's say this is an electronic track. Then there are subgenres here. You have hard dance, you have big room. Those are genres that I like to produce. So we're going to say hard dance and put a second genre. Now the album cover, you can actually drag the album cover to your music. So let's drag this album cover right here to here. Now the recommended pixel setting is 3000 by 3000, so it's just a recommendation. But if you're creating album artwork, I highly recommend that you create album artwork to this recommended image size, so 3000 by 3000 pixels. Sometimes you may have to adjust the pixels. You can go online and find free websites that will actually convert album artwork that you created to a different pixel size. So that is one option. So track title here is Punch Kick / Rip. Then add featured artists. This is where you can add featured artists. So the featured artists here you can see are Chandler Mogul, and another featured artist is the Wave APS, or Audio Production Studio. And then this is how this track will appear on Spotify when the track releases. This track is actually unreleased, so you're receiving a preview of an upcoming track of mine. I'm actually going to release this track on an EP or extended play, but this is how you do this. Now the audio file, again, you can drag or you can select an audio file and then upload. You're going to drag this audio file. Bam. You want this in a .wav. I do not recommend MP3. And then songwriter, you wrote this. Now here's where you will input the names. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use generic names for the sake of this tutorial because I want to keep the integrity of the artist. But again, you can decipher between music and lyrics. If someone only did the lyrics, you can input their lyrics, right, or their name right here for lyrics. Say Adam Brown, another songwriter if you had a third person. Explicit lyrics, this is a radio edit. Instrumental, and now you can decide the preview time. I usually like to do the preview time just before it drops, so for me it's usually arriving around 45 seconds to 1 minute, so consider that. Track price, I'd recommend you just keep it the same. And now here's where you can connect to Spotify URIs, Apple artist URLs. So just like above, this is where you would use that technique to copy and paste the URI, which is the option button on MacBook. Same thing with Wave APS. Now I've already released music with the Wave APS, so this already auto-populates. So once you do this several times, stuff will begin to auto-populate. And this is extras that are optional, but awesome, as DistroKid will say. The one I usually do is this discovery pack because this automatically registers your track with SoundScan, which is used for Billboard charts. And then it also allows you, or allows other users to scan and discover your music through apps like Shazam, which is really important. A lot of folks will find music through Shazam. I know I use it. It's a great AI tool. The rest of these options are not as important. And then down here at the bottom is where you have to check these boxes prior to hitting done. So I'm not going to upload this track, of course, but we'll check all these boxes. Like that last one, I'm not going to do it, and then you'll hit done, and then it'll take maybe a minute, or depending on the connections with the internet provider, take roughly a minute, plus or minus 30 seconds to another minute. Officially upload the track. Once you upload the track, you will receive automated emails stating that DistroKid is tracking, or basically status update from DistroKid. State, hey, process your album artwork, it's good to go. We listen to your track, it's the correct file size or file type. You've now sent your track for distribution stores. You're now tracking this pre-order release date. You will receive sometimes half a dozen, if not a dozen, automated emails from DistroKid. Now, if you want to do this as an album, let's just say you want to do 2 songs. So now we have 2 songs in here. We'll scroll down. This is still a release date, but we're going to create several songs. So if you have the album title right here, so now this is going to become an EP. So this is where you're going to see how this differs. So if this is an EP, this is the album title now. Now it's an EP, not a one single. You're going to want to name this EP. So for me, or name the album, Punch Kick / Rip, and I will say EP. And now this is where you put the song titles. So now that I've changed the number of songs, I now have to input this information in again. Punch Kick / Rip, I'm not going to put the featured artist. You upload the audio file here. I'm not going to do that right now. Put the songwriters as we did before with the single. And then you go down to song 2 and you do it again. So anywhere from 2 to 10 or more songs, you're going to do this process. So second single for me, and again, this is a preview of EP that I will soon release. Throw it all away. And I'm going to have other songs in this EP as well, but these are the first 2 songs in this EP. And again, you're going to input all the information just like you did before. And then you'll go down to these extras and check these extras. And again, now it's an EP or an album. Going down here, check on these boxes, you'll hit done. But I do recommend though that you go back and really I would double, if not triple or quadruple or quintuple check all this administrative information prior to hitting upload, because while you can amend information later, it is definitely preferred if you as the user, you as the distributor, perform this function right the first time, because it is much harder to make changes after you upload than it is right here when you have the opportunity to identify the mistakes and then amend the release prior to distributing your track. So I really highly recommend, and I cannot emphasize this enough, that you double, triple, quadruple, or quintuple check all of the administrative information, because there's also multiple parties that you may have to work with in order to make changes. It's not just DistroKid. You may have to work with individual digital service providers such as Spotify, Apple Music, and Amazon to make corrections. Now, DistroKid will make a mass correction, but sometimes it can be correctly routed on Spotify, and you have to contact Spotify to map the song to a different intended artist. So I highly recommend that you spend the extra time to get this right within DistroKid prior to hitting upload. Now, once you hit upload, you're going to go to My Music, and here, track will display with usually a yellow or amber status symbol that lets you know that it's in process. When tracks are either completely good to go in terms of the planned release, or they are already officially released, this status symbol will turn to green. So this is a helpful reminder to you. See right here, it says good. If it's in process, it'll have the amber color. Now, on these tracks though, you can also find other status updates as well. So, for example, he has not accepted this, so I'm going to release music. But you can see it will tell you if the album artwork is good and if the song is good, and then you have the splits, and you can edit the splits right here. This is how you can manage the individual information. Now, when you go to the stores, there's all the stores, some of them are highlighted. So if you click on Spotify, you'll find your single on Spotify, and this will display the individual artists that are on this record. So you can click on any of these artists, find profiles. Alright, so there you have it. That is my tutorial on how to upload singles, EPs, and albums on DistroKid and then distribute to the individual streaming stores. If you have any further questions on this process, please leave a comment below and I'll do my best to answer those questions. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial video.
3, 2, 1, lose it.